I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to control your inner world to change your outer world, because you can actually control your circumstances in a much more powerful way than you might think. But the problem is that we believe we have to control these circumstances to allow the circumstances to change. And this is simply not the truth. What if I told you that you could simply focus on your inner state of being and what's important to you, and that would allow the highest probability of you actually manifesting what you want? Where on the contrary, if you're focused on manipulating the external world to get what you want, the opposite happens, because what you're trying to force, that thing or that situation or that person kind of feels the opposite of that, because there's not a consensual agreement in the energetics of what's happening in that moment. And so what if I told you that you don't have to go through that process, but you can simply step back into your power and shift into your true creatorship and your sovereignty, and you will manifest everything into your life in a way that's completely in alignment with the highest truth of existence? What if I told you that was the case? Would you be interested in learning that? Of course you are, which is why you're here. And so with that being said, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how to control your inner world to change your outer world. If you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Now, number one, what I want you to understand is stop trying to control people and circumstances. Do you know how, I'm sure you felt this before, when somebody is trying to enter your vibration, enter your frequency without your consent, you feel like they're forcing their way in. You don't feel good when that happens. It feels invasive. It feels like, yo, you're being a little bit weird right now. It's like, I don't have anything against you. I don't have any problems with you, like for an absolute level. But in this moment, relatively, I do kind of have a problem with you, because like you're invading my boundaries. Now, personally, I don't deal with any kind of people like this in my life anymore. This doesn't happen to me, because I've established boundaries where I don't allow this kind of behavior to happen in my life. But what I will tell you though is that I realize that I don't need to control other people and circumstances to get what I want, because everything in this universe exists. It all exists. And when we're trying to control stuff and trying to manipulate people, it's funny, because the opposite thing that we want actually manifests, because usually those controlling and manipulative behaviors are coming from a non-grounded place of fear. It's just full-on fear, full-on anxiety. And then because we're scared of maybe not getting what we want and not getting that relationship, or not getting what we truly want, or not getting that money, well, then what happens is that we act from a place of neediness, and then the opposite happens, and we live into the thing that we're afraid of, because we're afraid of not getting it. And it's like, it's interesting irony. It's an interesting ironic situation here. I'm going to say that one more time. You live into the thing that you don't want, because you take action from a space of believing that it potentially may not happen, which actually manifests the exact thing that you didn't want. This is a problem. And what is this all stemmed upon? It stems upon the belief that there's not enough, that lack exists, that something in existence can be possibly the case where it doesn't exist. And that is not the truth. So when you're trying to control people in any way, in any shape or form, what that's showing you is, I don't believe that I can have what I want without overextending myself. I'm not saying to not use your intention-based energies. I'm not saying to not have love for the world, to not have unconditional love, to love everything that comes in your presence if you choose and want to love it. But what I will tell you though is that you have to want to love it, and you have to want to give it love, because if you feel like you have to, that person will feel that too. And ironically, they will feel like they have to too, because you'll be a perfect vibrational match. When you feel like you want to give love, you'll attract the people that want to give you love as well. And what will happen is that you'll both come together seeing that you don't have to control each other. And the circumstance even can be seen in the same way. It might seem weird, but even a circumstance has a spirit. A person has a spirit. A place also has a spirit. If you're trying to get to a place, that place wants you too. But if you're trying to force your way into it, that place will energetically say no. You can't come here if you feel like you need me, because you don't need me. And that's what's going to happen, is that if there's any sense from a person that that you need each other, and that person's conscious, they will immediately create a boundary automatically, just intuitively, because they'll sense that, wait a second, this person's not ready to receive my love. This person's not ready to fully step into what I have to offer, and they're trying to get it from me when they don't have to give it to themselves. And so I'm not going to be reciprocating this energy here. That's just the natural response that happens. But you want to let go of trying to control people and circumstances. Now, you might be thinking, well, that makes sense, but what is the alternative? What's the alternative, Francis? The alternative is number 2 in this video, which is control only your attention. Attention is the highest currency that exists in this universe. This is the highest currency that possibly exists. People try to overextend themselves to get money, overextend themselves to get friends and approval and validation from others. Now, I'm not saying that having deep friendships, deep romantic relationships, if you want those in your life, aren't something that are useful for you. They're not. I'm not saying that not only are they useful, they're good tools to expand you into more of who you really are. You know, I'm not saying they're bad, or I'm not saying they're good either. I'm just saying that they are what they are, and if you want it, you can want it. But what I will tell you, though, is that you want to be controlling your attention in order to manifest these things. Let me go a little bit deeper into this. You do not need to control anything in your life other than where your attention goes. Because you're trying to get people, get circumstances, get money. Well, what if you were to get attention, get consciousness, get the true currency of this universe, which is to get as much attention as possible. What is attention? It's your ability to perceive what is true in this moment. That's what your attention is. And this is the highest currency that can exist in this goddamn universe. If you have the energy and you have the attention and the perception to see life in a certain way, people will gravitate towards you because you have the currency that is based on the truth of existence. Now, I wouldn't quite call it currency, because as we raise our vibration to a higher level, the concept of currency becomes obsolete. It becomes not really needed, because really what's happening is that when you get to a higher state of consciousness, all that's happening is that the currency is your own energy. You have a desire, that other being has a desire, you both have the love to give each other that love, and the currency is the exchange in the energy. You connecting with each other is the exchange in the energy. But we're still on Earth, and we still have this thing that we call money. But I'll tell you one thing, if you want to get more money into your life, start to develop more consciousness. Start to shift your attention. Start to say to yourself, how do I experience life on the highest possible way, with the most perception, with the most connection to life, with the most willingness to experience this moment fully. If you can control only your attention and prioritize your attention above all else, you're going to get to the point where you realize that to be truly happy, it's not about controlling people or circumstances or getting as much money as possible. It's about controlling your intention. And you might be thinking, okay, but is this going to really help me make money, Francis? Am I really going to be able to make the money that I want by controlling only my attention? Yes, you will, because like I said, once you do this, typically what happens, not always, maybe it's not your true path, and if it's not, you're not even gonna care, because you're gonna get what you truly want anyways, not what you believe you want because you have to want it. What will happen is that you'll attract perfectly the money that you need. And even if it's not money, maybe what you really wanted was the relationship, and you can manifest a relationship without the money. You see, you don't need money or anything in the external world to get what you actually want. I'm gonna say that one more time. You do not need anything outside of you to get what you actually want. Everything that you need in this present moment is here for you. You have all the resources, you have everything you need. Now, some people are like, but Francis, no, I have limiting beliefs. You're wrong. I don't know if I can create this. I don't know if I have the resources. Well, let me ask you this. You might be a victim in your reality. Now, I'm not saying you're a victim, but let's say somebody comes to me and they are a victim. I don't want to be pointing it at you in this video because you might feel like I'm attacking you. So let's just say like there's a person that is a victim. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not important. You can take in and receive this information regardless of where you are in your life, if you want to. And of course, if you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this video and you would leave already by now. And if you do want to leave, that's your choice too. But anyways, let's say that there's a victim. There's a victim in reality. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not, but somebody's victim mindset. Now, let me ask you this. They might believe that it's their circumstances that are blocking them from manifesting what they want. They feel the need to control the circumstances to get what they want. And it's not working, but they feel the need to be persistent in the attention mind-based place, which is not bad, but there's an over persistence of the mind, which then it's not working. And they may wholeheartedly believe that it's not them, it's not their internal perception, it's not their internal state. They might even have a shadow on what I'm saying, like, no, it's not my internal state of being, I need to work harder. Now, listen, I'm not here to tell you what is the case or not the case, but here's what I'll say though, is that imagine if I was to shift into that person's body, my consciousness was to shapeshift into their body, would I have the same problem as that person? I've already manifested all the money that I need in my life. I've manifested all the relationships that I want in my life. I've manifested anything that I truly want in this moment. If I want something in this moment right now, it comes into my life very quickly and effortlessly and in the most easeful way possible, if it's what I truly actually want. Now, I'm not saying that to show off. I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm just saying that if I was to take my knowledge and wisdom and shift into that person's body, do you think that I would have the same problem? And it's an interesting perspective. It's like, well, Francis, that makes sense. I don't think so. You would probably be able to figure it out. So what does that tell you? That tells you it was never the circumstance. It was never the situation. It was never the problem that's happening outside of you. None of those things are blocking you from manifesting. It's you. You are the power. You get to decide how your reality unfolds. But you have to get to that place where you let go of the need to control the external world, because that's not where your power is. Your power is controlling your attention, which is the highest currency of the universe. What does this mean? This means controlling, like Francis, tell me what it actually means, for God's sake. It means you don't have to give energy to thoughts that are not serving your highest potential. It means that you can simply shift your attention to your body. Body awareness is really critical for releasing resistance and allowing this moment to be as it is. Now, that's the first step. Also, what you want to do, perhaps, if you feel in resonance to do this, is to disregard any thoughts that are out of alignment with your highest vision and simply let them go from a space of non-resistance. Any thoughts that you receive from the divine consciousness, from that divine will that enters your mind, which if you're honest with yourself, you don't create your thoughts. You don't need to create your reality. Yes, you create your reality, and I preach about that a lot, but really you don't need to create anything. You're receiving thoughts from the divine consciousness. If you're honest with yourself, you're not really in control here, paradoxically, even though of course you are in control. So what you can do is simply give energy and your attention only to the thoughts, only to the present moments. Like if you're in a moment, then fully accept that. And then if you're in that present moment and you have a thought that comes in that you prefer to experience, to move, so to speak, where you are into that timeline, well, then give energy to that. But if there's a thought that comes in that you don't resonate with, do you believe you have to go there? Do you believe you have to believe in that thought? Do you believe that you have to do things? Now, I'm not saying that doing things that are uncomfortable are not part of life sometimes, but you can do that from a space of non-resistance and not control the external world. So let's say you have a problem in your life with your health or with your money. Well, if you're starting a YouTube channel, for example, you can't necessarily control how many subscribers you get. You can't necessarily control how many likes you get. You can't necessarily control how people respond to you. You can't necessarily control how, like I run a coaching business. I can't necessarily control how many people sign up for my free consultation or watch my videos, but here's what I can control. I can control my attention. I can control my consciousness and my state of being. I can control my thought patterns. I can do affirmations. I don't really do affirmations a lot because I prefer to receive thoughts and give energy to the ones that I want and let God and the divine will flow through me. That's just what I personally operate. You don't have to operate in that way if you don't want to. You find what works for you. But nonetheless, though, what I personally have found is that I can control what manifests. But here's what I can control. I can post videos every single day if I want to manifest that in my life. I can give energy to people, help them as much as possible. I can shift my attention to what I prefer to experience in this present moment and only focus on my inner state of being. And then you know what's funny is that when I focus on only what I can control and I let go of what I can't control, what happens is that I start to manifest. I start to get the subscribers. I start to get the videos popping. I start to get all the relationships that I've ever wanted. And this is what happened to me, is that I started to attract magnetically all the relationships that I wanted, everything that I've ever truly wanted started to come into my life when I decided to say, you know what, I am allowed to want what I want, but I don't have to control people or things to get there. I decided that I am worthy of wanting what I want, but I don't need to unnecessarily push my energies in a way that I don't want to in order for it to manifest. So control only your attention, not the external world. Attention is the highest currency of the universe. Number 3, this is critical. The world reflects your attention, your choices, and your intentions. The world will always reflect. What most people do, and you probably hear this a lot in the law of attraction community, is that people feel that they need to change the mirror reflection in order to experience a different reality. Like, oh, if I'm looking in the mirror, I need to change what I see in the mirror. It's like, oh, if I don't look how I want to look, or I'm not, displaying the attributes that I want to display, I have to control the external world and control how I look in order to make this happen. Now, I'm not saying, for example, that you can't go to the gym and you can't move your body and you can't upgrade yourself from a space of unconditional love and acceptance. But what I am saying, though, is it coming from a space of, I'm not happy with where I am now, and I feel that because it's not going to manifest, and I don't believe it's going to manifest, now I need to control the external world. See, there's a difference between working towards what you want from a space of being okay with where you are and believing that it is possible, or truly in your heart you believe on some level that you can't manifest what you want, and out of fear of it not happening, you then overextend yourself. There's a huge distinction that needs to be made there. And really what I'm sharing with you is that you don't need to be focusing on the reflection in order to change your life. You can simply focus on your own internal state of being, like I was saying before. The world reflects your attention and your choices and your intentions. Whatever you choose, and this is a choice, by the way, this is a choice. Consciousness, yes, you could from one perspective say that God and the infinity of all that is quite inevitable, because everything in consciousness will be experienced at the end of the day. That's the truth, is that everything that can be experienced, that ever will be experienced, already exists. It will happen, and it already does exist. Not only is it potentially going to exist, it already does exist, and it's going to happen, and it already is happening. And so the truth is that while we can consider this truth to be true, which it is true, what you want to realize is that, yes, although everything is inevitable, because it's so inevitable, because there's so much infinite love that God has created through itself, what happens is that it's so much love, it's so much infinity. We're getting super metaphysical here, but this is definitely connected to manifestation, so stick around with me here until we close the video. Yes, it's inevitable, but also because it's so inevitable, because it's so everything, because it's so all-encompassing, because it all exists, consciousness had to create a mechanism to which it could experience all of that, which is you. You're doing that now. And then what happens is that you say to yourself, imagine you're God, you say to yourself, well, I'm already everything. How am I going to experience this? There's no distinction. Everything just is. Everything is already infinity. Everything is already oneness. But now, because it's so one, because it's so loving, it just feels like there's nothing here. It's so everything that it's nothing. It's so everything that it's just not even a thing, and I don't even feel like I'm experiencing it. There's so much experience, there's so much love, that who can I share this love with? So what happens is that because there's so much everythingness, this is a perspective you can use to understand manifestation. Personally, this understanding of how God works and how the universe works really helped me to hone in on how manifestation really works, so that I can create what I want from that space of non-resistance. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. But what you can do is start to realize that because it's so inevitable, because there's, in a way, no free will, because it's so inevitable, you have to have a choice. Consciousness and God gave you the free will to say that, hey, everything exists already. But because I want it to be experienced unconditionally, imagine if God was speaking to you, I'm going to give you the choice here. I'm going to give you the choice. I'm going to give you the opportunity to say, you know what? If you want to resist something, you have that choice. If you want to accept it unconditionally and then expand that love, you also have that choice. Whatever choice you make, it's up to you. That's the beautiful thing about life, is nobody's going to force you. I'm not going to force you to manifest your reality. I'm not going to force you to create what you want. I'm not going to force you to manifest your reality into existence. I'm not going to force you to want the truth of life. I'm not going to force you to get spiritual experiences. Even I'm not ready for certain spiritual experiences. I like manifesting things in the physical world, but I know how the truth of existence works and what this is all leading up to, which is that God wants you to experience the highest love through this present moment and what is happening now, because this is the highest form of love being expressed in this present moment right now. But what I want to share with you, why am I sharing all of this, is because you want to really be understanding at the core of your being that the world reflects your intention, your choices, and your intentions. And you get to choose what you experience without controlling people, but by seeing that because everything exists, because everything has a right to exist, you can simply choose to experience what already exists fully consciously as the individuated individual expression that is a piece of the infinity, choosing to experience so that you can see the infinity from that particular relative point of view that has never been actually experienced before in that particular way. And this is powerful stuff, because if you apply these three things in this video, what you're going to get to is a state of peace, a state of non-resistance, while simultaneously unconditionally loving yourself to become your greatest version. What could be more powerful than that? I don't know personally, but this is the topic that really resonates with me. This is what I find really interesting in life right now. And if you find it interesting too, and if this video gave you some value and some benefit, leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts if you want to. I would personally love to hear about it. That's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. Also, if you want to download my free guided meditation to accelerate your manifestations and expand the heart, hit the link that's also in the description box of this video and in the comments of this video. It's a very powerful meditation. It will accelerate what you truly want and propel those manifestations. Now, finally, please hit that like button so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators of their reality, and that they can manifest their reality, and that they can do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. I believe that every single person deserves this info, and hitting that like button does help the algorithm, and it does truly, honestly help the channel grow so that more people can get access to this very valuable content. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next